want to be passed around so bad, but my boyfriend just wants a monogamous relationship. It's 2024. Expecting to be with one person for your entire life is like unreasonable. I'm a young 18-year-old Latina. I'm trying to get my face blasted by multiple men. Like, I haven't even had a quickie in a bathroom stall. I have so much to live for. And you're telling me that I have to stay with this one guy because I love him so much. But there's literally guys out there with 13-inch meats waiting to destroy me. It would just be so unfortunate if I were to go my whole entire life without getting piped by at least 100 different people just to see who I like the most.
2 years on that.
Bruh.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, and turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. Now, today's video is going to be my second live stream. I was streaming earlier, then I had technical difficulties, and then I had to go off air. Hopefully, that does not happen again. So, today's topic of the video today is going to be what I would tell my younger self if I could travel back in time. And of course, this case 22, we have to go through things, experience things to learn things. But some things I wish I never had to learn. But I think because I didn't have a stable male role model in my life, there were a lot of things that I had to learn on my own the hard way. Some of them by observing others. Some of them I did get insight from some men that happened to pass through my life, but I never had that strong father figure there. So I can see how I was lacking in certain areas. And that's why in today's age, when a lot of people are getting together, having a good, happy romance for a few years, then having kids. And once they have kids, especially when I guess the relationship was starting to fall apart anyway, and then you had kids on top of that, I mean, why do that to them? And what's going to happen? Both of you are going to break up, and then you're going to have a broken home. Their kids are going to grow up maybe not knowing their father. In some cases, not knowing their mother, because in some rare occasions, yes, the man takes the child from the woman, but I don't think that happens a lot with black men. Now, white men are not all white men, but white men are good now with getting on child support. But that's another video that I'll get on at a certain point. Anyway, there's an actor, Michael B. Jordan. And ever since he was with Lori Harvey, he hasn't really been tied to anybody else. Now, I know he was seen with a white woman. Of course, sisters was up in arms about that, but I think probably they were just dating, and then he kind of saw it wasn't going to go anywhere, so it didn't go anywhere. But he has decided to focus on his career, okay, and to maybe leave the women out of it, because even the women on his level that do have money, they tend to bring certain problems to his life that I guess he's not willing to deal with. So I have a video by Jada Black that he took in, did a nice expose on this, uh, on something that Michael B. Jordan said. And I'm going to share that right now.
Everybody that's tuning in, I want to talk about Michael B. Jordan. Now, Michael B. Jordan, he went viral about a week ago when a quote from a podcast appearance where he talked about basically being alone and not being in any relationship, and a woman who understands. As we know from his most recent relationship, it was probably his first public relationship with Lori Harvey. I think he tried something different and it just didn't work, because you're not going to date Lori Harvey and have a private relationship. And I think he tried to do that. And I think ever since then, he's kept his dating life a low profile. And I think that's for the best. And I feel like that relationship is the catalyst for what's going on now, because I knew that once he broke up with Lori, I knew he would never have another public relationship like that again. And if he does, that woman, he's probably going to marry that woman, because it seemed like he was very close to making that choice, but places enough. And I think he understands that. And, he moved on. He never tried to go back. He moved forward. And when you look at where he is in his life and in his career, I understand where he's coming from. You as a man, who's building yourself up, who's is doing, I see that he is putting himself first, because he's saying, I don't have time for a relationship. I don't want to waste her time. I don't want to waste mine. And I don't want to get into something that's not going to work. Also, I believe that this is his way of trying to never again have a public relationship like he had with Lori Harvey. Move forward. And when you look at where he is in his life and where he's coming from, you as a man, who's building yourself up, who's building your career, building your finances, you don't have time to try to make something work that doesn't. As a matter of fact, let's get to these quotes that he had from this podcast appearance. He was on the Jay Shetty podcast, talked about how he goes back and forth wanting partnership and then not knowing what's the best partner for him. He says, bringing them into my world, what I got going on isn't easy. He added, and it's not just I love you, you love me. That should be enough, right? It's not quite that simple. It's about finding the right person to understand all of me. But then all that comes with me as well. He continues, and understand that balance between wanting to be available and there for that person while I'm juggling everything else and feeling okay to put the...
Okay, I had to come back in now. Hopefully you guys are hearing this video, because I can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing, but fortunately I watched the video before, so I know what they were talking about. But I think after, and plus when I was trying to do something, I actually jumped further in the video and then I had to go back. So if you're hearing part of it over, that's okay. When I go through to edit it, I should be to take that part out, yeah, I think after Lori Harvey, I think that really hurt him with that right there, and he wanted to marry that woman, and I think she did him a favor by not marrying him. Okay, so because of that right there, he was able to see how that probably would not work. And a lot of men don't get off easy like that. I know I was heartbroken when The last woman I really started opening up to, and I put my heart out there, and then she crushed it. But in her defense, I know she wasn't really trying to be spiteful, because she wasn't really nasty at the end, unlike the ex-one that I married. She was nasty, somewhat past the middle, definitely at the end, and definitely when it was over. Now, the way I understand, because once again, I will say I got her into some legal trouble because of something I did out of desperation, which that really wasn't my intention, but it is what it is, how the thing played out. But however, as I will always say to her, you was being nasty up to that point, okay? And I just would happen to been dealing with it. But finally, I was able to move past it, and and it took me a while to, I guess, come to terms with that, because to me it felt like a waste, like I wasted my time being with her. And this is the thing that I'm going to say for it. With women, it's the opposite. They look at it as successful if you was with a man and then suddenly you divorced them. Okay, as long as you have kids, you have assets, you have things that you can walk away with. With women, it's a win. With men, it's the opposite. It's a loss. The same way as, even though if a man really loves you, he's going to feel this pain. If you two are boyfriend and girlfriend and you break up and you have no kids, you have nothing really tying you together, and you both go to separate ways. If he loved you, he will definitely miss you. But the sad thing with that is that women, that's a loss for them, because they walk away with nothing. They get no kids, so therefore they don't get child support, and there's no assets. So that is why I will say, if a woman leaves you and you two have nothing to tie you together, she actually did you a favor, even if as a dude it hurts you. So those women that left me early, yeah, they did me a favor. It was the one that I married and put all that time and effort in. That one was the loss. Anyway, I'm going to continue this video right now, and hopefully, look, I can't hear too much on my end because this is like my second stream. I'm not sure why, but when I listened to the video before, after I uploaded and then deleted it and then did this one over, I was able to hear the video. Well, the video that I couldn't hear. So anyway, let me
of my businesses down. He also said that, he says, I love multitasking. I love juggling. I love balancing act that I do. He said, acknowledging the worst part is the loneliness that comes with it. There's a loneliness that I have. The responsibility that you have is isolating, and the weight is isolating, he explained. So I think the worst part of that is the feeling like nobody really understands me, and sometimes falling into the spaces of just being alone, feeling alone, the sacrifice, the compromise that comes with a partnership and a relationship, and understanding how to make that all work. Sometimes it gives me anxiety and pause. He concluded, Jordan is not looking for a relationship at the moment. He knows he does want a family eventually. It would take a very special person to understand and grow with him, he said. I understand that because, I've had to do similar things in my life. I've had to isolate myself and focus on what's important. That's building a foundation for myself. And you do isolate yourself. You isolate yourself from family. You isolate yourself from friends. You're not out partying, getting into things. You know, you have to give up. You have to sacrifice certain things in your life in order to obtain, so things that you feel like you need, but it's well worth it once you have it. And it's better than getting into relationships that fall apart, like what happened with him and Lori Harvey. That fell completely apart. That's why I say I don't think he will ever have a public relationship ever again, because, every detail of your life put out there, and he tried to do that and it didn't work. And I feel like that has played a part into this as well, because he tried to make something work, first of all, with a person that it wasn't going to work with. And then when you look at the fact that he's always kept his private life private, you never really knew who he was dating. That's why you saw all these goofy rumors about him. Every time you see him in a setting with a female, especially if she's non-black, people, there were people jumping to conclusions. That's because he didn't want you to know what's going on in his private life, and he has every reason to do that, because a lot of people are weird. And again, as a man who wants to be successful, you're going to have to isolate yourself. You're going to have to put yourself in a situation where you're not bothered, distracted. There's no drama. There's no issues, because you have goals. You are busy. You have things that need to be done. You have a life quota, right? I want to have this amount of money. I want to own this amount of property. I want to have this amount of success. And you're going to have to cut out certain things. And a relationship is that. Relationships nowadays just aren't worth it, especially when it comes to these celebrities. It just isn't worth it. You're better off just being single. I see this with athletes all the time. They marry women in their prime. Like, you're in the prime of your career. You should be focusing on playing as long as you can, making as much as you can. And then once you're retired, you can focus on that later. Michael B. Jordan has plenty of, he's the most marketable he's ever been, and he wants to focus on that. And the thing about men is we've been programmed to focus on everybody else. We've been programmed to focus on, being the head of household, taking care of the family. There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of women do not feel that way. They do not feel like they need men to provide and protect for them anymore. They feel like they could do that stuff themselves, or they could find alternative means. Men have lost placement in our society. Look at how wayward younger men are. Younger men are so wayward. They don't have mentors. They don't have men who are there for them. Their fathers aren't there for them because their mothers push the fathers out of the children's lives. So when these young men get older and they need that male role model, the mother doesn't know what to do, even though she played a part in fracturing that father's relationship with the children. But she doesn't care, because it's all about winning. It's all about winning at the end of the day. But what do you win? Your children are going to be screwed up, and they're going to be a lost cause. And a lot of young men are a lost cause because they're taught wrong. They're raised wrong. Focusing on goals, focusing on the things that I understand Michael B. Jordan is saying, because I live my life similarly. You walk that Sigma path. You go the road less traveled. You put aside fun. You put aside dating, because it's not really that important. He's always going to be able to find the woman that he wants. He knows this. He's not running out of time. And I honestly think that sometimes the loneliness is worth it, because I would rather be lonely and accomplish my goals than to be miserable and out here having fun and being lit. What is having fun and being lit when you're constantly getting in trouble? You're dealing relationships, right? But you don't want to let go of her. So you put aside all your goals and aspirations because you're trying to keep this woman on a leash. You're trying to keep her with you.
Do you know what happens inside your body when you eat fast food? New research suggests that most people have up to 8 undigested meals.
And it's just not going to work. You're better off just being single. I say this to anybody. You're better off being single. Don't try to hold on to a woman who clearly does not want to be with you. It's not worth it at the end of the day. You're better off just leaving the situation and focusing on what's important. You are important. A lot of men today lack confidence. They lack confidence because they may have grew up in a single parent environment where they didn't have that male there to instill that in them. So they have to learn confidence. But ultimately, when you look at a guy like Michael B. Jordan, that's a guy's example that you can follow. That's a guy who you can look at and say, okay, I see what he is doing. I see that he is putting himself first, because he's saying, I don't have time for a relationship. I don't want to waste her time. I don't want to waste mine. And I don't want to get into something that's not going to work. Also, I believe that this is his way of trying to never again have a public relationship like he had with Lori Harvey. I think this was him saying, I need a breather. I need to decompress, and I need to continue what I am doing without being sidetracked by another public relationship that goes down the drain due to the fact that I can't make the right time for it, and she's not going to be happy with the time that I do give her. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share. Follow me on Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram. I'll see y'all next one.
Okay, now I was able to hear that the video, that you guys could hear the video. My phone is making noises. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I was able to hear the video on my phone. So I could definitely see that everything was working out fine. However, in this stream that I was using, I could not hear the freaking video of what he was saying. Fortunately, I had listened to this before, so and look, anytime B. Jordan is, wait a minute, give me a second. These damn notifications right now is like driving me nuts. All right. Anytime that Michael B. Jordan, alphas, those guys that are Chad and Tyrone, men that have money, is out here struggling to date, then we regular men is definitely struggling right now. So, well, not all of us. And when I walk outside and around, I can see there are happy couples. There are people seemingly making it work. But I always believe when you see relationships out there, there are few that's happy, and a lot of them have like spyware or viruses working in the background. It's kind of like when you are on your computer and everything seems to be fine, but it's not fine because it's things going on under the surface. And that's how it goes with a lot of people that are in these relationships today. They are just faking the funk. Now, you can't expect stuff to be perfect, but the thing that usually bothers me is when people, and mostly women do this, but sometimes men do this too, but they'll get with somebody that they're not really into. Maybe usually because they can't get the person they really want. Commit. Be in a relationship with them a year, 2, 3, 4, maybe even even get married to the person. And then later they'll dump that person, even if they don't get with that person that they really want, they'll leave at other problems. So that wasn't a problem, but I might have had the disrespect problem, the flirting problem, the too many man friend problems. So I've had different problems. I just never had that one when I really think about it. So I would never say that all women do that particular thing. Plus, sometimes I know women is the opposite. They can't get sexual relations from their husband. Okay, so and sometimes they're not bad looking. Now, of course, though, women, you have to understand it does apply a lot with how you look, but the way a lot of men are conditioned, we are usually conditioned to accept you as you are, even if you gain a couple of pounds, especially if you had a baby or something. But I don't always think women do that in reverse. If their due starts falling off, sometimes they'll do it, but the guy has to be like a Pookie, or you know that term, the Pookie and Ray Ray. Has to be a Pookie, or either he has to be a Chad or Tyrone, or he has to be like really good looking or something, or 6'6". Yeah, because those are the dudes. Sometimes I will see women, they will be taking care of that dude, but I will notice they have certain things that the woman likes. And it's not always looks, because sometimes I'll be looking, I'm like, what is it with this dude? But however, I will notice that the dude treats her a certain type of way, and he does that push and pull thing of like he's funny and he's exciting and he is nice to her, but then he's also direct and mean. Now, I do think men should always be direct with their women and tell them when they don't feel like pitting up with certain stuff, or either this is the way it's going to be. Because as I said one time, especially with the ex I married, even though she has some good qualities, and like I'll say, she did stand by me in some of my darkest times. But at the same time, when I was down and going through things, she would definitely kick me when I'm down. And she would have no mercy when she's kicking me. It's not like she would call the dogs off or something, and then she'll be telling other people the business. And that's definitely, I will say, with any man, no matter who you are, if your woman's telling other people your personal business, leave her alone, because that eventually is going to snowball and be something that you cannot deal with. And that's why I do judge women on their friends, because those are the people that you are going to be talking to. That's going to be a influence in our relationship. So my advice to young men out there, or to my past self, is you can date. Now, of course, don't use women, and that's my stick right there, only because I would not want her to do that to me. But don't get too serious. Focus on your career, being in health, getting certain things, not necessarily for the woman, for yourself. Okay. And then also try to get some mentors and some strong male role models in your life that will keep you focused. Alarm. That will keep you focused and will not have you losing your mind with some of these women out here. So, trying to see, is there anything else I wish to add to that right there? Yeah, focus, health. Yeah, and the end goal is to be able to choose your women better. Now, of course, we all want, no matter what any man says, you want a woman that you are attracted to, but don't pick her solely on how she looks. Okay? Pick her on her character, the people that she hang around, her friends. I will also say, observe her how she is when she is being negative, toxic. The family, well, yeah, she's usually not going to do that to her friends, but with how she is with her family, because how she is to them, eventually she's going to be to you. Yep. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys like my second live stream, and I should have another one coming. I think I'm going to do maybe 2 a week. I'm not going to go buck wild with this right here because I'm still trying to get the basics down and to be comfortable being able to talk for extensive extensive amount of time to you guys, and to also be entertaining. So I hope you learned something here. I definitely learned a lot about myself the last couple of years and where I went wrong with most of the women in my life. Okay, so give me a like, a subscribe, and and before you go, I have plenty of other videos that you can watch. Okay, so talk about P. Diddy, talk about how not to get roped into certain secret societies. Okay, so you can check those out. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Emotional damage.
Dirty word. Your ego has driven you out of